Greetings and re-welcome to Math 11 in the AM. Shandalka here. Second part of the class. This time we're going to talk about overtime pay. We got a little bit of reading to do, and you guys should know this because you don't want to be taken advantage of if you're working and stuff. If you're working for a place like Co-op or Esso or Safeway or something, you can pretty well trust that you're going to get overtime pay when you need it. Sometimes when you work at small businesses, you might make a side deal, and if you agree to something that's not official, well, but you do have a right to overtime pay. A regular work week is 40 hours, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. There's variations on that. You could work 4 days of 10, and stuff like that. If you belong to a union, check your collective agreement. You might have better hours and work overtime provisions than the minimums found in the law. That means employers can be more generous with the limit to how long your boss can make you work, 44 hours a week, unless you consent to more. Our daily max is 12 hours a day, unless you consent to more. Now, often because you're getting paid overtime, people want more than 44 hours a week. Because you get actually more pay for those hours over 40. So that's why. Let's figure out how this works. So we flip the page. You're with me, right? This is important to know. Calculating overtime, an example here. Brad works for a welding company. Now, first of all, 27.35 is not a bad wage, eh? I don't know, Gray, do you know what you make per hour-ish? 14? Well, you work, that's a great, and you don't work a lot of hours, but that's great. Yeah, 4 hours a week. You're not getting rich, but I mean, it's nice to gross 88 bucks a week. Gross. You don't, maybe you do get paid out pretty much all of that because if their payroll knows that you're not going to pay tax at the end of the year, they can choose not to take off the tax because it all gets refunded. You're getting paid well and it's all above board. You guys ever hear something called working under the table? What does that mean, Kyle? You're not in the system, yeah. So they probably aren't taking off taxes and stuff like this. If you're working under the table, there's no record of it. You're probably being paid cash or a check that's not going through their accounting system. And if that all rules are off about overtime is whatever you guys agree to. You don't have any rights for that too, but I mean, you want cash. Like if you did work for me, I wouldn't set up a social insurance or like register you and stuff like this. But if I asked you to come and help me on doing some painting, carpentry work or something like this, I would pay you under the table. It wouldn't get. You mow your neighbor's lawn for 20 bucks. It's under the table. So, that kind of stuff. This wouldn't apply. You guys agree on that. But Brad works for a welding company. He earns $27.35 an hour. He mustn't be a full-fledged welder because they make better money. He's working 52 hours this week. He's going to get some sweet overtime on that. Well, the first 40 hours are regular pay. That's what this step one is. So you actually figure out his first 40 hours, and you say, okay, that's 1,094. Okay, gosh. Then, how many hours did he work overtime? Well, any hour after 40 is considered overtime. So you subtract. You can do it in your head, you can do it by on paper or whatever. That's 12 hours of overtime. Guess what? He gets paid better than $27.35 an hour. It's 1.5. You get 50% more for those hours that you work overtime. So to figure that out, you multiply your hourly wage by 1.5. This is his overtime, OT wage. Okay? So that's what this is. This is why people want overtime, because they're making, it's like working an hour and a half, getting paid like that much for 1 hour's work. So then you take that overtime rate, 4103, times the hours that you worked over. You get almost 500 bucks out of that. pretty good. That's like working 18 hours. You did it in 12 hours. You put the regular pay plus the overtime pay. Nested. That's where this came from. It's for 1 week, almost 1,600 bucks. Gross. That's done for you. But watching someone do math or read math doesn't help you that much. We've got to do it. We're going to do one example. I'm going to start with number 1 with you guys. And then we'll take us to the end of the class and you guys will have something to start on tomorrow. Okay? Calculated overtime. We just figured some stuff out. Allison has a new job with the city maintenance group. She's paid an hourly rate of $12.50, usually 8 hours, 5 days a week. That's 40 hours in a week. That's a normal. Okay. So find your regular earnings for 1 week. That's $12.50 times the 40 hours. I'm plug this here, so I'm going to use a calculator. I do other stuff. I get 500 bucks gross. Wait, not gross. Okay. If she works more than 40 hours that week, though, she's paid overtime. 1 week, she must have worked 45 hours because she has 5 hours of overtime. That week, you got a bit of figuring to do. So first of all, I'm going to label this overtime hourly wage equal to the $12.50. Now, what do we multiply by to find out what you get per hour for overtime hours? 1.5. This is why she's going to want to do it. That's 6 1/4. 12.5 times 1.5. That's 18 3/4. With a dollar sign there. In the money. So I'm going to change colors just so we don't get confused. There's not a lot of them. So then let's figure out our overtime pay for that 5 hours. I'm going to take that overtime rate, 1875, times the 5 hours extra. That times the 5, extra 92.70. So then, find your total earnings that week. Well, it's equal to the 500 bucks from regular pay. It's snapped out on me, so here, back in 500 plus the overtime pay, my color coded is. What does that come out to be? 500. Half. 5. The questions that you're going to do tomorrow are variations of that. So we have 3 more questions, 2, 3, 4 for tomorrow. Start of the class because I'm going to be getting the 21s going on this stuff too. Okay? Oh, there's. You guys got 3 minutes to lollygag there.